Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge, and welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. And I'm down in the sanctuary of the Fledge right now. I've got an old Fledge Fest T-shirt on that Kimberly Levon designed for us in 2017, and yeah, shout out to her for the design. Shout out to Retro Duck Luke, who's rescheduling with me. I hope for who made the shirts. So today on the show, I had another guest scheduled, but she's 8 months pregnant and not feeling very well. So I begged my great friend who happened to be at the Fledge here with me to come on the show. And so we pulled her in a little bit early. So today on the show, I have Miss Bridget Doyle. How you doing, Bridget?
Good. How you doing?
What you been doing today?
I've been working. I came out to check out the mobile recovery unit you guys have out there today, and that's how you nagged me to come on the show here. So
yeah, so we have a mobile recovery clinic that's in from Clarkston right now. They're outside, and they'll help people with checkups and kind of check on their status for people who are in recovery. But they also have vaccines. So every couple of weeks, they are going to be at the Fledge and helping with recovery on one side, but also giving out vaccines if anybody is interested in coming and getting a free vaccine. So what's your interest with the mobile recovery? Does that relate to your job?
Well, yeah, I mean, I work for community mental health, and we have different departments with substance abuse, but I've had my own history with it with my family and different friends, so it's interesting to see the mobile recovery unit just kind of pull up on the block here and do what they do. It's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Now we all want different buses to do different things for our projects. So let's get into you. Let's talk about you a little bit. Where were you born and raised? Where'd you go to school?
I was born in Ada, Michigan. I went to Catholic school, St. Mary's Academy, Marywood Academy, until they shut down in like 4th grade. So I got out and went to public school in Grand Rapids. And then I came to Lansing for my undergrad degree in psychology, and then went to Grand Valley for my master's in social work.
Oh, that's awesome. So, I don't always remember that you have a master's in social work. In Ada, they're famous for Amway.
Mm-hmm. I worked at Amway, yeah.
Huh? Was that one of your first jobs?
No, I was a newspaper delivery person, my first job when I was like 10. So.
The number one entrepreneurial start.
And it was at a retirement home, so it was all inside. And it was super easy. It was newspaper delivery.
They tip you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have to collect, with the tags and all that?
I don't. No, but it was really weird. We delivered papers, and some people would have a little note like, "Please bring the paper inside," and then they,
cookies and
want me to play macaroni with them, and some of them wanted me to clip their toenails. It was kind of creepy,
which is perfect setup for community mental health.
Yeah.
So that's when I was a paper boy. It was in the late 70s. And they made us collect all the money. So we had these little tabs that we'd have to say, oh, you owe for 3 weeks. And then you give them the tabs and they give you the money. And you're like 12. And some of them are like, get out of here, kid. I'll pay you when I want to pay you. And it was horrible. It was a nightmare.
Lucky. My mom was super detail oriented. And she did it with me for the first couple, months. And she'd put little star stickers next to the person's name, whether it was a Sunday only, Saturday, Monday. Yeah, it was crazy. But it's kind of a pain going up there on Christmas delivering papers.
So Katie's saying she didn't know you had a master's in social work too.
How do you not know that?
I don't know. Maybe you're not pretentious and walking around with MSW behind your name.
That's my whole thing. I don't. That's why.
But I think it's on your email now that I think about it.
Maybe. My work email, yeah.
So let's talk about what you're working on now. I mean, we've got, ENO, we've got community mental health, we have art space, probably a bunch of other things that we could list as well. Are you doing any gardening?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the favorite thing you're growing?
Lavender for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I planted a bunch of seeds outside in like a sandy soil, like you told me. But then, right as the plants were coming up, the young lady who's suffering from substance use disorder, who's, strung out all the time or high all the time, stomped them all.
Oh, jeez.
So-
Well, I can take a little cutting for you from some of my other ones.
You give me one.
I know. But
I got
give
it
you more if
planted.
you need one.
Let's jump in with ENO,
Okay.
East Side Neighborhood Organization. Tell us about that.
So I joined the board for ENO. Tried to keep track of time with COVID, so I don't know. It's been a couple of years I've been on the board, I think, and it's been difficult because of COVID. We've had to do, like everybody else, switch over to Zoom, and just trying to kind of make it a little more lively. We had the candidates forum last night, which I was glad to get going because there's a lot of new names out there running for council and mayor, and typically we do a candidates night in the fall, but I wanted to get in something before the primaries, before the absentee ballots were out, so that we could hear from everybody. And it was an interesting evening.
Yeah, I was able to watch the first hour, so I only saw the at-large candidates, and I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a pretty good job. We put that together pretty quick, and it went pretty well. Are you guys happy with it?
Yeah.
How many people were able to attend?
I think the highest that I saw, like on Zoom, was 34, 35 people.
Yeah.
And people were kind of bouncing in and out, which is pretty big. I mean,
yeah.
I wished it would have been bigger, but
Well, it will be now because I think you're posting
I posted it on the ENO Facebook page, and we'll probably get it up on the Public Media Center to run it on City TV.
Oh, sweet. So definitely check out the ENO page to watch the candidates forum last night. For a load of all kinds of reasons, it is definitely worth watching. It is one of the, I didn't get to see the second half, but Shannon recorded some parts of it with her phone, and it is right on. Definitely go watch this. Makes me smile.
It's worth your time.
Okay, so that's kind of ENO. Well, you got anything big planned with ENO?
Well, it's ENO's 50th, I think 50th or 100th birthday. So next spring, summer, we're looking to have a good outing and just kind of celebrate the neighborhood. And like I said, we'll have another candidates night after the primaries.
So everyone's doing the math right now and saying, ENO, isn't that a Facebook page, right?
Well, there's a Facebook page, yeah, and I think we even have a website. I'm not sure how maintained that is, but yeah, we have a Facebook page. If you're not in it, you have to request to join and just answer the 3 questions that we have out there. You don't have to live in the East Side to be a part of the page. We don't want to limit people's ability to be on there.
But there's a lot you do that's not Facebook.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really about the neighborhood and organizing and getting the neighborhood's voice heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was this last 2 years have been tough because we usually have a super in the spring where it's like the only fundraiser, and this year's we tried to do it. With Davies Project, we gave the money to, but it was just kind of low attendance. We had a drive-through pizza thing, so hoping to kind of.
Was I supposed to make soup?
No,
was that
was
year?
Last year. We had to
and
cancel
you
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So ENO, and we also talked to Nancy Malo, who's your partner in crime on that.
She's the president.
She's the president. So her and I talked a lot about the East Side and the East Side Neighborhood Organization. So you want to go to Art Space or Community Mental Health, or
Art Space?
You want to go to the next
question?
Right?
Art Space is, it's been a rough 2 years. I don't know. It just kind of feels like starting over because of COVID and having any venues, and I mean, I let people down, but it's But
Art Space was about pop-ups all over the place, right? And to come at it as a group and support the community and all of that.
Yeah.
So COVID let us all down. You definitely didn't let me down. I mean, I love having any event you guys want to have here.
Yeah.
But COVID kind of made that super difficult.
Yeah.
So I want to see Art Space back up and running
We'll try.
if we can. How's like you? That was all free for everybody, wasn't it? Or
We
was there a
tried to make it
membership?
free. Well, yeah, our space is just, yeah, it's free. You don't have to like pay anything to be a part of it. Yeah, it's about helping, up and coming artists have a space to showcase their art, and not pay $150 to get a vendor spot.
Yeah.
We try to keep the cost really cheap when we did do pop-ups, or free if we could. So
Yeah, I thought you guys had great events.
yeah, it was fun. It's a lot of work.
Do you mind just telling us a little bit, and obviously whatever you're comfortable with, about community mental health
Yeah.
and what's happening there?
So I have been working at CMH for 19 years, which feels like a really long time. Look, I'm aging myself. I started off as a group home technician, and I worked in adult foster care homes for adults who were developmentally disabled and or mentally ill. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And then after a few years of doing that, I took a manager position and I managed a couple group homes. And then after I went through grad school, I became a coordinator over 20 plus homes. And then I had my son and decided it was a little too stressful because you're on call 24/7 and it's just constant putting out fires and crises. So I transferred over to be a training coordinator, which I've been doing for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
It's not quite as exciting as being in there with the people, but a lot less stressful.
So we said neighborhood and we said art community. Now we say community mental health. Is that your theme? Like you want
I guess so.
groups of people to succeed?
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's
It's
pretty
tough.
awesome.
It's a hard job, and especially right now with all the frontline workers that are working in the group homes 24/7. In full PPE. With it's a hard job.
And you finished your master's when you were 15 at Grand Valley. She's
Yep.
only 34 or something, right?
Yeah, that's about right.
All right. Even that's too
The
much for
Catholic
me
school
to
really
say.
pushed me forward.
Oh yeah, I bet. So what's something you do every damn day to push your mission forward?
I wake up every day.
Which is a great start.
It's been a struggle with COVID. I've had a lot of ups and downs, and definitely more downs than ups. And I think that, hanging out with my family and friends, I remember just texting you, can I just come to the fudge? I just need somewhere safe to be. So it's just kind of connecting with people and, staying busy and trying not to get too overwhelmed by shit.
And with what was happening with COVID, with even more isolation for some of the groups that, have depression or substance use or whatever, was like the worst thing that could happen to them.
Well, and it's bad for the people that are living in group homes. They can't go out. They couldn't go out.
Right.
They couldn't even go for a van ride because you have to be, 6 feet away from the driver to go into a van to just drive to a park. But yeah.
And then the other thing is, if you watch the news, it seems like all the group homes, all the elderly that's not what they call it anymore, probably. I get words wrong sometimes. Sorry, guys. Always teach me if you can, because we're all still learning how to use language that's not stigmatizing and hurtful. But I mean, if you would have watched the news, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm stuck in this. This is a death trap. But it really, you guys had good success, right?
Mm-hmm.
Containing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was rough when COVID first hit. I was reassigned to my old job that I left because it was so stressful, to just be on call. And our house ended up being the PPE zone for all the group homes because I had to keep track of masks and gloves and gowns and hand sanitizer. I was pumping that out daily. Just, it was pretty wild, but we've got some really great staff that.
How did your staff hold up? I mean, were there a lot of people that wanted to take time off, that were scared to go in the group homes, maybe for the aforementioned thing?
Yeah. yeah, I mean, definitely. We had a lot of sites where we had some cases, and yeah,
Yeah.
you're once you're in a house where there's a positive case, you're stuck in that house.
Yeah.
You can't work it's really stressful. I feel for the
Did
group
you
home
guys
staff.
had to scramble for manpower
Yeah.
or labor? Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they're getting like $2 extra an hour, which is nothing. I mean,
For like
it should be
hazard
more.
pay?
Yeah.
Yeah. How so people always think, all right, community mental health, and there's these people out there in the community that we need to go help because they have a mental illness of one sort or another, but that sometimes comes back on the caregiver, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you can get pulled down by someone
Oh, yeah.
that's depressed
Well,
or
it's like a multifaceted. I mean, and we touched on this in the last ENO meeting briefly when Chief Green was in there talking about. We were saying, we need more social workers, and he mentioned like, well, they only work till 5 and they don't work on the weekends, and we're like, excuse me, and
Chief Green.
I've had bald spots in my hair from people pulling out my hair. I've had somebody rip through a knife drawer locked and pull a butcher knife out on me without calling the police.
Yeah.
Who, and granted, those are people that I worked with, that I have a relationship with, but even still, like we were able to resolve it without somebody getting injured or killed. So, we do work on the weekends and at night and past 5, and I think it would be really great to have more social workers, not necessarily in the police department, but maybe a separate entity that responds to certain calls. I know that's all political,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
I'm trying really hard not to call 911 for the woman who's stomping my lavender, and
Yeah.
I mean, she's done some pretty gross things in different places of the outside of the Fledge, and I just can't. I don't have the heart to call the police on her because I don't know what will happen. Will they, if they do take her and they put her in jail? That's not going to be comfortable at all for her. And I'm not saying that I want her to always be comfortable, because
Right.
substance use and getting into recovery shouldn't be. Probably you need to change.
Yeah.
And but at the same time,
Depends
you
on
can
her
do
mental
some
status,
stuff.
too.
Yeah. And she's been using meth for a long time, so she's not always thinking the way
Yeah.
that we might think, or like we think she should be thinking. And it's scary for me. And the other thing is that the house that she interacts with is basically filled with young men, most of them black. And if the police have to interact with them, then what's going to happen? And it's just more and more. I just want to try to figure out. I'm trying to get her to garden. I got an ally that's in the house with me that's trying to help too. And if we could just get them a garden, maybe, if she wants to stomp it, she can stomp it, and we'll redo plants or whatever. But just give her her own little space to figure this out.
That's a good idea.
But what do you guys do to stay healthy, to stay, it's not like mental illness is contagious, but
Right.
some of the behavior, I mean, if you've got to try to be up all day with someone who's down, and you've got to pull that energy together, and maybe you don't have it yourself because you're also isolated.
It's your relationship with the people that you work with. And, I've always had the frame of mind or whatever that, like, I'm not going to ask my staff to do something I wouldn't do, so you're there with them in that crisis. If there's a crisis going on or whatever, you're not, sitting behind a computer. It's about the connection with the people that you're working with and the community around you.
Yeah.
So.
Do you see a lot of advocates come out of, like, maybe they were struggling with a mental health issue, and then they've resolved it, or they're living with it through medication or therapy or something, and then they pop out an advocate?
Yeah, we have a peer support program that we have. Yeah, it's super cool. There are people that have used services from CMH, and now they're employed by CMH as a peer support recovery person. So yeah, it's
Can the general public, like, can I do something that helps support community mental health?
You can, if you go on our main website, there's, volunteer options, you have internship options, a lot of different there's a lot of different ways, and we're always hiring.
So we daisy chain these shows together. And yesterday on the show, I had Megan, who does Able Guys.
Mhm.
And so she'll take a 360 video of like the Fledge. She gave me a quote this morning, so I'm interested in this. And just show the experience of navigating around, from walking in the door or coming up the ramp and all of that. So it helps people with, different abilities to be able to see or hear or experience what they're going to get into when they come here.
Mhm.
And her question for you is, what is the moment that changed your life? We forgot to prepare for that, didn't we? Sorry,
That's
I'm
okay.
springing this on her. So, and she's not nervous. She's super excited to be on the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Um,
was there some moment that you just knew you needed to be a social worker, or that you knew you needed to help organize community?
I'm the middle child, so I have the middle child syndrome of helping other people and the people pleaser. So that's always been there. Even when I was like 11 at a nursing home with the naked lady wanting me to cut her toenails while I delivered the paper, it was like just something I did.
You cut her toenails?
I didn't, but I did sit down with her and found staff to come out. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of part of me. I think, my mom had cancer, and I took care of her for quite a while until she passed. And I think, that had a huge impact on me. And obviously, but at that point, I was already working for CMH and, on my career path or whatever. But taking care of people is just kind of my thing. I don't know if there was like a click or moment where it dawned on me, but maybe I was just born with it.
Born to do it. And I do think you're good at it. I mean, I've seen you built Art Space pretty quick in the beginning, and you might, I know that you're humble or something, or shy. I don't think you're shy, but you're very humble.
Yeah.
And I think what you do is great. And I know a lot of people think that as well. Tomorrow on the show, I have James Stages. You would know, well, the Stages family owned bigfireworks.com for a long time, the American Eagle Superstore, but they've sold it to one of the sons, James, and he's turned it into Pro Fireworks. What would you like to ask James?
What's a hobby he likes other than blowing shit up?
All right, James, what's a hobby you like other than blowing shit up? What's a hobby you like other than organizing community?
I like to make products. With essential oils, I have a sort of a business called Organic Roots where I make different concoctions, and it's like natural products instead of, I like to say, like, I like to be able to pronounce the ingredients that are in the stuff I'm putting in my body. Yeah. So that's
I love your hand sanitizer that you gave me early on in the pandemic, because did it have lavender?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that's kind of your thing too, right?
Yeah.
Is lavender?
Well, patchouli, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Lavender's
but it would smell so good, and it would make me feel.
I delivered those to the group homes, and they were like, "Thank you,"
Yeah.
because the hand sanitizer is nasty.
It just feels so chemically, right? Or chemically. I don't know what the right word is. Not yours, the others. And, like yours will separate, but that's because you don't put the thing in it that has this weird name that's going to make my fingers fall off when I'm 80.
Or like burn your skin. Yeah.
So, happiness, sadness, joy, or hope? What word would you like to talk about?
I guess hope.
Hope? What gives you hope?
My son and my job and my family and the community.
Yeah. But mostly your son, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Did COVID make you feel more hopeful, or did you get hopeless?
No, I don't think I got hopeless. It was definitely, it's been frustrating, and hearing like my 6-year-old say to me, Mom, remember in the olden days before COVID, like when we could go to the store, and so it's interesting, like watching it through his eyes, and trying to explain, why is that asshole not wearing a mask in Meyer? He doesn't care about people, does he?
I'm going to talk about happiness
Okay.
before I start to close out.
Gotcha.
Now you can be happy, because I can't ever ask you to come on every damn day again. She's been fighting me a little bit. So I'm very happy that we did this, and I'm very happy that you're in one of the first year's shows. So it's special to me. I'm happy we're friends. I think we're more than fledged colleagues.
Yeah.
I consider you a friend. I hope that was
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
And James is telling you great interview. Erica swears by your face serum. I don't know what that is. And hi, Daryl. I didn't really see that in the beginning, but I hope you're doing well out on treats and sweets. So, and 4 people that have been on the show already. Awesome. All right, everyone. Every damn day, 2 p.m., we'll be here talking with a creative, an innovator, an entrepreneur, a special person in our community, or sometimes from all over around the world. So what would you like to take us out with? Go to the
out
next
and
one.
enjoy some fucking sunshine.
Yeah, that's a great one. I'm going to go do that, actually. We're going to go do
Yes.
that. So we're going to go enjoy some sunshine. Hope you all do too. Have a great day. Love y'all. We are out.